Stephen Glenn Martin is an American comedian, actor, writer, producer, and musician. Known for his work in comedy films, television, and recording, he has received many accolades, including 5 Grammy Awards, a Primetime Emmy Award, and an Honorary Academy Award, in addition to nominations for 2 Tony Awards. He also received the Mark Twain Prize for American Humor in 2005, the Kennedy Center Honors in 2007, and an AFI Life Achievement Award in 2015. In 2004, Comedy Central ranked Martin at 6th place in a list of the 100 greatest stand-up comics. The Guardian named him one of the best actors never to have received an Academy Award nomination. Steve Martin, born in 1945, is a multi-talented actor and real estate salesman from Waco, Texas. He grew up in a Baptist family and was a cheerleader at Garden Grove High School. Martin's first job was at Disneyland, selling guidebooks during summer breaks. He later worked at the magic shop in Fantasyland, perfecting his magic skills. Martin is described as an agnostic and rarely attended church. He dated Melissa Trumbo in his early 20s and attended Santa Ana College. Martin also participated in comedies and theater productions, and later met actress Stormy Shirk. Shirk's influence led him to apply to California State University, Long Beach, for philosophy. However, they eventually separated due to distance. Martin, an actor-comedian, was inspired by philosophy classes and considered becoming a professor instead. He majored in philosophy, which led him to study logic and non sequiturs. Martin's stand-up act spoofed his philosophy studies, comparing it to studying geology. In 1967, he switched to theater and appeared in an episode of The Dating Game. He dropped out of college at 21. In 1967, his former girlfriend Nina Goldblatt helped him land a writing job on the Smothers Brothers Comedy Hour. He won an Emmy Award in 1969 and wrote for the Glenn Campbell Goodtime Hour and the Sonny and Cher Comedy Hour. Martin's first television appearance was on the Smothers Brothers Comedy Hour in 1968. He opened for groups like the Nitty Gritty Dirt Band, the Carpenters, and Toto. Martin continued to write, earning an Emmy nomination for his work on Van Dyke and Company in 1976. In the mid-1970s, Martin appeared on various TV shows and hosted NBC's Saturday Night Live. He gained fame for his stand-up comedy performances and eventually pursued film. His first film appearance was in 1972's Another Nice Mess, followed by The Absent-Minded Waiter and The Jerk. Martin was an executive producer for Domestic Life and Twilight Theater and appeared in several films directed by Carl Reiner. He has since appeared in numerous films, including Baby Mama, 30 Rock, The Big Year, Home, Billy Lynn's Long Halftime Walk, Comedians in Cars Getting Coffee, Oh, Hello on Broadway, and Netflix comedy specials. Martin's 1970s television appearances led to the release of platinum comedy albums, including Let's Get Small and A Wild and Crazy Guy. Steve Martin was a versatile entertainer and intellectual, known for his off-kilter and ironic style. His stand-up was self-referential and sometimes self-mocking, blending philosophical riffs with sudden spurts of happy feet. Martin's show required full-size stadiums, leading him to wear a distinctive 3-piece white suit. In 1981, he stopped doing stand-up comedy to focus on movies and did not return for 35 years. In 2016, Martin made a low-key comeback to live comedy, opening for Jerry Seinfeld and staging a national tour with Martin Short and the Steep Canyon Rangers. This led to a 2018 Netflix comedy special, Steve Martin and Martin Short, An Evening You Will Forget for the Rest of Your Life, which received 4 Primetime Emmy Award nominations. Martin's first book was Cruel Shoes, a collection of comedic short stories and essays. He wrote various pieces for The New Yorker, adapted The Underpants, and co-wrote and produced Traitor. He also wrote novellas Shopgirl and The Pleasure of My Company. In 2007, he published a memoir, Born Standing Up, which Time magazine named one of the top 10 nonfiction books of 2007. Steve Martin, a playwright, has collaborated with cartoonist Harry Bliss since 2019, publishing the cartoon collection A Wealth of Pigeons. In 2022, they collaborated again for Martin's illustrated autobiography, Number One is Walking. Martin's first full-length play, Picasso at the Lapin Agile, was written in 1993 and performed in various U.S. cities. In 2009, the school board in La Grande, Oregon, refused to allow the play to be performed due to parental complaints. Martin and Edie Brickell collaborated on his first musical, Bright Star, set in the Blue Ridge Mountains of North Carolina in 1945-46. The musical received 5 Tony Award nominations, including Best Musical, and Martin himself received Tony nominations for Best Book of a Musical and Best Original Score. His next work was the comic play Meteor Shower, which opened on Broadway in 2017. Critics praised the play for its humor and premise. Martin hosted the Academy Awards solo in 2001 and 2003, with Alec Baldwin in 2010. In 2020, he opened the 92nd Academy Awards with Chris Rock. In 2005, he co-hosted Disneyland, the first 50 magical years, marking the park's anniversary. Steve Martin, a bluegrass musician, began playing the banjo at the age of 17. He learned to play the banjo with John McEwen, who later joined the Nitty Gritty Dirt Band. Martin's stand-up routine included opening for the band in the early 1970s, playing banjo on his hit song, King Tut. His final comedy album, The Steve Martin Brothers, 1981, featured live performances of Martin playing banjo with a bluegrass band. In 2001, Martin played banjo on Earl Scruggs's remake of Foggy Mountain Breakdown, winning the Best Country Instrumental Performance category at the Grammy Awards. In 2009, Martin released his first all-music album, The Crow, New Songs for the Five-String Banjo, which won the Grammy Award for Best Bluegrass Album in 2010. Martin made his first appearance on the Grand Ole Opry in 2009 and performed on the American Idol Season 8 finals. In 2010, Martin and the Steep Canyon Rangers performed at various festivals, including Merlefest and the Colbert Report. Steve Martin, a Grammy-winning bluegrass musician, has a successful career with Edie Brickell and created the Steve Martin Prize for Excellence in Banjo and Bluegrass in 2010. He has dated artists like Bernadette Peters, Mary Tyler Moore, and Karen Carpenter. Martin's life took a turn during Operation Desert Storm in 1990, and he married Anne Stringfield in 2007. He is an avid art collector since 1968. Steve Martin, a comedian, was involved in the infamous painting Landschaft mit Pferden, which he believed to be a 1915 work by Heinrich Campendonck. However, it was later discovered to be a forgery, likely from a collection created by a German forgery ring led by Wolfgang Beltracchi. Martin was on the Los Angeles County Museum of Art Board from 1984 to 2004 and helped launch the National Endowment for Indigenous Visual Arts in 2021. He has also supported Indigenous Australian painting and organized an exhibition in 2019. Martin's offbeat, ironic, and deconstructive style of humor has influenced many comedians, including Tina Fey, Steve Carell, Conan O'Brien, Jon Stewart, and singer and composer Mike Patton.